Well, let's bring you that incredible interview. We begin the half hour with that interview with one of the real-life heroes of an incredible survival story. Now, some of you may have been gripped by the recent Netflix film, Society of the Snow. It's about that doomed 571 flight. Let me remind you about the story. On the 13th of October, it's 1972, a Uruguayan Air Force plane commissioned for civilian flight crashed into the Andes. Among the 40 passengers were a 1st Division rugby team, accompanied by family and friends. Well, many of the passengers either died in the crash or in the days after. In fact, only 16 of the original passengers survived and ended up spending more than 2 months stranded on the mountain. The group famously survived by eating the flesh of their dead companions. Later, convinced they would all die otherwise, 2 of the young men left the crash site in search of help. Well, the 2 young men were spotted by mule riders high in the Chilean foothills, and eventually this led to the rescue of 14 survivors who were still on the site. Well, the incredible story has been written into books and films have been made about it, making the Andes crash one of the most well-known stories of survival. Roberto Canessa was a 19-year-old medical student at the time that he boarded that doomed flight with his team. Having survived those extremely harrowing conditions, Roberto went on to become a renowned peadiatric cardiologist, a motivational speaker and a politician in Uruguay. Well, he now lives in Montevideo and he took some time out to talk to me about his experience.
Well, there were circumstances in which the ambitions were very low. Our motto was, perhaps tomorrow, and where there's life, there's hope. Imagine how poor were our ambitions, but we knew that if we were alive, the world was going on outside of the mountains, and some way we should get out of someone come to rescue us.
Did you believe someone would come and rescue you? Did you have that belief in your hearts?
At the beginning, yes. We thought a plane crash, our families will be desperate. They are going to come and search for us. But then when we heard on the radio that there had been 33 plane crashes in the Andes and had been no survivors, we realized that maybe the search was not going to be done as needed, especially after having so much people dead in the mountains. So we realized that maybe it was on us. It was from the childish attitude of being rescued to a more powerful attitude of getting out of it.
One of the most, obviously, the most famous, the most well-known elements of this crash was the fact that you and your teammates, people on the plane, ended up having to do difficult things to survive, including eating the flesh of some of those deceased passengers. Tell me how you all came to that decision.
Well, from outside, for you is the most harrowing part. That's the good part about the film, that you see that there are more adverse circumstances. And I was like a witness there. I can tell you what I thought. I thought protein, fat, lipids. We have carbohydrates through the cycle of Krebs. I was a second-year medical student, and we knew that substrate was appropriate. So, and I thought if I'm one of the dead ones, I will be happy to contribute with my dead body to the survival of my friends. So it was a quite simple and deep approach that we had to take there. And I knew that we didn't have much time. It's Darwin's theory that the species that adapt more fast are the ones that survive. And we were an adapting species.
Dr. Canessa, do you believe if you hadn't made that decision, you wouldn't have survived those 10 weeks?
I lost 30 kilograms. I mean, I was skeletic. I was like from the concentration camps. We had all the signs of cachexia. It's called the flower pot, in which your cheeks go in and their temporal muscles go out, and you look like a flower pot. Yeah, I mean, of course, Gustavo Servino told me, if you don't go out now, your energies won't be enough to get out of here. It was very scientific. It's incredible how many things happen. I feel like a guinea pig. It was like an experiment of human behavior.
I don't think anyone can really judge something like that unless they've been in that position, can they?
Well, no, I respect if someone said I wouldn't have done that. Okay, it's up to you, but I'm alive now, and I'm very thankful to my friends.
Absolutely. You're alive now, and the story has been written into books. It's been made into a Netflix movie. How did you feel when you watched the movie? Was it true to what happened?
Oh yes, emotionally it was great, but the movie doesn't show what happened. If they show you what happened, you run off out of the cinema. I mean, it's a very miserable circumstance that we had. I think that this is an historical thing, like the Titanic, and has been written many books. Piers Paul Reed, my friend in England, has done an incredible book called Alive, and this is another movie. And there have been many movies, but what I find that these people that are attached to the ordeal and through these different windows of books and films can go into what really happened.
Tell me a little bit about what you do now. You're a paediatric cardiologist, you're a motivational speaker. When you go and speak to people and you tell them about the story and they ask you about the story, what do you say? What do you do to motivate people?
Well, I tell them that don't wait your plane to crash to realize how much you have, and that most people in the world, a million, have enough. If you have a place to sleep, water to drink, food to eat, a bed to sleep, then it's up to you, man. It's up to you to get moving and not continue asking for things. And in my pediatric cardiology, the people from England had helped me a lot in London. Professor Michael Tynan has helped us, and the Brompton Hospital there, and many places. So I have combined the Andes ordeal with my cardiology, and I tell them about leadership and how to get around, and they tell me about medicine. So it's a great mixture, and for kids it's incredible. I'm amazed. I was in Spain, in Lima, in Peru, and the kids come around and want to know, and it's an incredible opportunity for them to know about a real story instead of computers and fantasy heroes.
Dr. Roberto Canessa there, a survivor of the Andes plane crash.